My name is Grace Reeves. I worked for the Hartfords from 1914 to 1924 as a housemaid, then as a lady's maid. I have a secret.
Good evening. Our show tonight dates back several decades. Many of you know the history revolving around the famous poet R.S. Hunter and his tragic death at Riverton. Tonight we will delve deep within the mystery of the death that surrounds this famous poet. A new historian has uncovered tapes about these events, but it's up to you to decide the truth at the house at Riverton.
When I found this, I was not quite sure what I was getting into. Tapes long ago hidden by Grace Reeves, who would have thought? She wanted it to be known that the past haunts the present. She tells of her present-day life and includes flashbacks to her young maid days, where lies that reappear and secrets that become unraveled. It was very suspenseful. It was very much a romantic Gothic story.
I wondered what sort of misguided loyalty had made me care. Why, after all these years, it still mattered to me what people thought.
Her first-person point of view and her foreshadowing of her flashbacks of untold events grips you all the more as you listen. It's so Gothic.
History was about to intervene. Real adventure, real escape, and adulthood were lurking, laughing, round the corner.
There were 3 Hartford children, and they loved each other very dearly. There was David, the eldest, who died during the war, Hannah, and then Emmeline, forever entwined in our history books. But Grace often wondered who their mysterious father was, Mr. Frederick. The strange thing is, even though Grace is the speaker, she portrays Hannah, her mistress, and her friend as the heroine. Hannah, based on Grace's account, challenges the tyrant figure and saves the virginal maiden who is Grace. Grace is the young, innocent, loyal maid. These are very Gothic attributes. Hannah is a symbol of the go-getter. She represents the modern woman in the fight to be different, while Grace is a symbol of the weak who do not do anything with their life. By having Hannah as a hero, she is put into the spot as being on the right path and not Grace. Also, with Grace's portrayal of Hannah as the hero, her loyalty is still shown for past occurrences.
Then Robbie appeared. Robbie Hunter, a friend of David's. You know those romance stories. When the two don't get along at first, imagine communicating so much with so little. Those were the words of the man who would shape history with poetry and love.
I even found Hannah's diary. It seems she was writing to Grace.
The world is changing, Grace, and I want to see it. I want to know how it feels to be altered by life. Don't you ever wish for more than life has given?
Hannah was so full of life, and she was determined to change her situation. This fits with the Gothic era that they are from. The woman's role in society was changing. She even learned shorthand, which would play its role in the Hartfords' lives soon enough.
She looked up, slipped the white satin bow from her hair, and held it up to Robbie's waiting hand.
I pondered over this quite a while and decided that Grace is trying to tell us something about the future of this story. As we will hear later, the white satin bow and Robbie are interlinked. Secrets come up a lot in this story. It's as if she doesn't want to give it up. She is trying to let go, but can't.
Mother was smiling to herself, smiling like someone with a secret.
Like secrets, the past haunts Grace.
Take its place amongst the layers of the past, its savagery and horrors replaced in popular imagination by others still to come. I became obsessed with discovering the past, facing the past.
Like I said, the oldest brother, David, died, but with his death, Grace foreshadows some more.
David's death had dismantled the triangle, and an enclosed space was now open. 2 points unreliable, with nothing to anchor them. There is nothing to stop them drifting in opposite directions.
Grace is so haunted by the past, she cannot tell a story without foreshadowing a little to our biggest secret. Now, Hannah tells us that she wants to work in an office and contribute to society. Sounds like social change.
At this point, I have finally figured out the secret my mother kept. I have found why Mr. Frederick looked at me strangely. It is because he is my father. Hannah is my sister.
With this revelation of her heritage, Grace goes on to devotedly serve her half-sister Hannah, leaving behind the man she loved. But with this, another lover returned, Robbie Hunter. With Robbie, it was the white satin turned brown. Unfortunately, this lover returned too late. Hannah was already in a loveless marriage with the tyrannical male of the classic Gothic novels. She was like the satin, her innocence was gone, and she was no longer the free spirit that Robbie first loved. Again, this insignificant satin ribbon is brought up to symbolize the lost adventure of the free spirit. The white coloring is the purity with living life, but the brown is the regret that life provides.
I know a lot about secrets. I have made them my life.
Grace talks a lot about her past, but she does also mention the present. This organization of letting the past intermingle with the present reflects the concept that the past haunts the present.
I am resigned to my future. It is the past that troubles me.
The flashbacks eventually take over her story. She wants to let go, but through the constant foreshadowing, evident by the fact that she draws it out with flashback after flashback to the point where she no longer mentions the future, signifies the fact that the past has gotten its grip on her, and she, or the past, will not let go.
I remember a time when Robbie came for dinner. He talked of his travels and secrets long hidden.
Sometimes I felt that I could glimpse the past. When evenings came, and I was all alone, I could almost hear the whispers of the dead, ancient secrets swirling by.
But then Emmeline fell in love with Robbie, a secret that she kept for years. There was a letter, shorthand. I wasn't sure the death. Hannah said, "You can't read shorthand."
Knowing shorthand is similar to taking all opportunities when they come, so there is no haunting of the past, or no regrets.
I hope you enjoyed this edition of The House at Riverton. Thank you and good night.